Assalamu alaikum friends, welcome to SBR revision series for September 2021 Intangible Assets. So under Intangible Assets we are going to go through the recognition. What if it does not meet the recognition criteria, amortization, useful life, definite versus indefinite, revaluation, research costs and development costs. Okay, so intangible asset. What is intangible asset? Intangible asset is any asset which you cannot touch. There is no physical substance. Okay, it is an identifiable. You can identify it, and it's a non-monetary asset. It's not a monetary asset. Then, if an intangible asset does not meet the recognition criteria, how do you recognize it? I mean, how do you show it? You charge it as an expense in the statement of profit or loss. You cannot capitalize it if it does not meet the recognition criteria. But if it meets the recognition criteria, okay, you have to initially recognize it at what cost. Okay, but if these four conditions are met, then only. What are the conditions? Number one, it has to be identifiable. Number two, it has to be controlled by the entity. Number three, it has to generate future economic benefit. Number four, cost has to be measured reliably. If these four conditions are satisfied, you have to recognize it at cost initially. And after you have recognized it, because it's an intangible asset, what should you do? Intangible asset, you have to amortize it over their useful life. Talking about their useful life, okay, this is an area which examiner can ask you regarding useful life. What happens with when it's an indefinite useful life? What happens when it's a finite useful life, right? So if the useful life is indefinite, that means they cannot predict the number of years. They will not give you a definite years. Then what happens? Then you cannot amortize it. No amortization. But if it's a definite, then you have to, for example, definite useful life is 5 years, 6 years, right? Finite useful life. Then you have to amortize it over the useful life, finite useful life. But even if no amortization is charged for indefinite useful life, remember you have to annually carry out the impairment review. Impairment review you have to carry it annually whether you charge amortization or not. Now we are moving on to revaluation. Okay, initially we told you have to recognize it at cost, but subsequently you have a choice at cost or fair value. Okay, so intangible assets can be revalued only if fair value can be determined with reference to an active market. Why is it so? Because not all intangible assets are traded frequently, not all intangible asset as an active market, so it's hard to find the fair value. In that case, do not use the fair value, use the cost value, the cost model. Only if you can determine it, that also with reference to an active market, that means your intangible asset should have an active market. So from there you have to take the fair value, not any other method. If you cannot take it, then don't take the fair value. Simple. Next, research and development cost. Okay, so for intangible asset we have research also and we have development cost also. How do you recognize it, or how do you measure it? This research cost goes to profit and loss as an expense. Okay, there is no doubt about it. All research expenses will be, or research cost will be expensed. Coming to development cost, this will be recognized as an asset. That means you can capitalize the development cost as a part of an asset only if it meets the following six criteria. Six criteria. If it does not mean, then it will be taken as an expense, the way we have taken the research cost. Number one, project has to be technically feasible. Number two, asset has to be completed, and after completed it will be used or it will be sold, but it has to be completed. Entity is able to use or sell the asset. You should be able to use it or sell the asset. It will generate future economic benefit. Entity has technical, financial and other resources to complete the project, and expenditure can be measured reliably. If the six criteria are met, you capitalize it, take it as a part of an intangible asset, otherwise expense. And so how do you charge amortization then? After you have capitalized the development cost, that means it's a part of an intangible asset. You have to amortize it now. So amortization over the useful life of the new product will commence once the project is complete. This is very important. You are not taking it from day one when the project was not complete. No. Amortization you are taking from the day when the project is complete, ready to use. From that day onwards, you are taking for amortization. Okay. So that's it for IS 38. Next, we will be covering IS 40, investment property. So till then, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.